Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks, and you are checking out a tip and trick tutorial video that's in support of our sound set, Ashes. So Ashes is a sound set that centers around the sound from like producers like Illenium, Griffin, to a lesser extent, Seven Lions. And in this video, I wanted to show you how to create an Illenium style drum fill. And I feel a little bit dumb saying that because Illenium uses various types of drum fills in his music, but there's one in particular that he's used on a few occasions that really caught my attention because it's quite unique. And I used something similar in the demo for Ashes, so I thought I'd show you how to make it. And I also got a couple questions asking about that specific fill. So here we are. All right, so let's listen to the demo track. And I think we're going to hear Tuvlo say the F word because she's obsessed with the F word. But if you're not in that sort of thing, plug your ears for like the first 5 seconds. But there's the beginning of the drop has this drum fill, and then there's these similar type drum fills throughout the drop. Right, so there's one in the background on the turnaround measure. There's one again too. All right, so the samples that he's using in that type of fill they sound like a kick almost, but it's a taiko drum, I believe. I did my homework for Ashes, and I went through his AMA on Reddit that Illenium did a while ago, and someone asked about that, and he says he likes using taiko drums and blending them with other like kick samples. So there's a couple taiko drum samples blended with kick samples in Ashes. And tracking down a taiko drum player in LA was actually a lot harder than I thought, but we found one, got a couple samples from him, and they made it into the pack. So let's listen to this section of this demo here. Now, these tracks that are like pink and purple, these are the ones that we're referencing. Right? So they happen a couple more times throughout the drop, but let's just focus on this first part. So all these samples are in Ashes. If you don't have Ashes or you have no interest in getting Ashes, you should still be able to get close with this. Now, the timing of the fill doesn't really matter. As we heard in the Tuvlo Say It example, the first one is it's a pitched drum hit, and then it's this reversed kick or taiko sample, and then into the kick. That's the first thing that he does in that drum fill, which is really cool. He reverses a sound, and it's usually like a taiko sample, or it sounds like some type of kick. Okay, so that's what we have here. Okay, and I filtered off a lot of the lows and highs. Otherwise, it's really quite big. So I just took a kick, right, any old kick, and you can reverse it in your DAW. I took one of the percussive, or one of the acoustic kicks inside of Ashes. So if we reverse this one, same thing. I just found one that had a nice long tail to give it that kind of build up. So that's something that he does. He'll do this reverse thing within the fill, which is really interesting. So the first hit here is this taiko-ish type hit, right? And layered with a kick. Then here's the second one. It's a tom that has a lot of the low end filtered out. And we'll talk about why I did that in a second. Now here's the third part of the fill. The kick, it's one of the kicks from pack, again with low end and high end removed. Right, and then a fill just to kind of start the drop. So if we listen to just the percussive elements without the crash. There it is, right? Now it's the thing that makes it have that Illenium sound really is this reverse sample here. If we mute that, it's going to be way different. It's close, but that reverse sample, that reverse kick or that reverse acoustic kick, or you can use a taiko or any like tom, that's a nice decay to it, nice long decay. It brings it together. Now the reason why I took out all these low and high frequencies on the actual other parts of the fill, right? If we listen to this in context. The best way I can describe it is without the EQ cuts on like doing a high pass and a low pass to some degree, it sounds like the fill is sitting on top of the beat. Right, and you can hear the tone of the tom, and you might run into problems with having too much pitch in the tom. So one reason why you take out those frequencies is it makes it sit further into the beat. It's like it's under the beat, right? Because it's removing a lot of the frequency, thus some of the noise as well. And And with a lot of the high and low frequencies cut out, it makes your drop have more impact, especially when you hear the actual kick in the drop, right? So here is the kick. And if we solo this, that's like a bigger, fuller bodied sound. So if all these samples had that same fullness in terms of frequency, it might make your kick at the beginning of your drop lose its punch. Now, another thing that Illenium does, which I think is really, really cool, it kind of has takes from like a cinematic sound design perspective, is he will actually reverse a kick leading into a kick sample. And we have that here. So if we solo the drums right now, and I'm going to let's bring in the shaker and all these other elements so it's more full. So this pink one right here is the same reverse sample, and it leads into this kick. So check this out. Right, that has a really cool feel, like sucks the life out of the track for just a second, and then it brings it back in. And that's something that he does quite a bit in his tracks that I actually think is really cool and really unique. So as far as building out this drum fill, you're going to need about 3 different sounds. You're going to need maybe like a taiko sample or a tom, and then a kick or 2 kicks even. Maybe a more electronic, typical EDM style kick, and then blend that with one of the acoustic kicks and ashes, for instance, and you'll get the sound. The main thing you want to do is make sure you're filtering out some of the low and high frequencies. Otherwise, it sits on top of the beat and not kind of tucked under it. Right? And then the rest of it is up to you. We could take out this first hit if we wanted. Still sounds fine. It just really depends how advanced you want to get with the fill. Or we could even mute these first 2 here, just have it kind of start with the reversed one. Right, we could bring this one back, rearrange where some of these hits happened. It shouldn't really affect the feel of the groove. Right, so there's a lot of ways you can do this type of drum fill. It's really up to you to make it your own, I guess. But yeah, that reverse sample really brings it together, and then cutting out some of the highs and lows so it sits under the beat and not above it is really helpful to getting that Illenium drum fill sound. All right, guys, that sums up this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't checked out the pack, Ashes, yet, definitely give it a listen. Some pretty cool stuff in that sound set. All right, guys, I will see you next time.